All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to apostle and elders in New York, GMS. Salutation to you, Aqua around the world that's teaching the truth, putting your lives on the line for it. And shalom to you, serious Aqua. My name is Maya Ka'ala, Bun Gad with Chicago branch of Great Millstone. I'd like to make the disclaimer that we are not black Hebrew Israelites. We are Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and speckled birds, scattered abroad. Speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their fathers' paternal bloodline go back to the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, we're not affiliated with any violent groups. We're not affiliated with any militant groups. We're not affiliated with any terrorist groups, man. And this video is gonna be about basically the Negritos, the Philippines, Malaysia, all right, and basically the Israelites that's just scatter in Asia, particularly this Southwest Asia, all right. I'm gonna deal with other parts of Asia, and the Spirit will put on me to do this this video, all right. And I didn't have any intention to mention Fopi Israelite school in there, but hey, Most High work with us on the right hand side, and Most High work with the 2/3, and he's on the left hand side, all right, to spread his lies, to spread lies, basically to blind the 2/3. You read that in Psalms 69 and 22, Romans 11:7, man. All right, so because only the elect is gonna get this, all right, and this is for edification for the elect. So we all know that Fopi, basically they meant to lead the 2/3. All right, Great Millstone, DTA, Men of Valor, us as here in Caps, we're meant to lead the elect, and the 1/3 was Yahweh guide us and use us as vessels, all right, to lead them to the light, the knowledge. Okay, and Fopi, they're carnal, all right, and it tells you at John, it says John chapter 7, verse 24, it says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. All right, and that's what they doing, man. They being carnal, man. All right, they're being carnal and they're being ignorant. All right, and I'm about to show you this video.
And the title today, we will be discussing how Asian slaves became Indians. I'm going to go into depth about how Chinos became reclassified as Indians or indigenous people. Moreover, while indigenous people were reclassified as African and Negroes, Chino slaves were allowed to obtain an indigenous identity and status. The main source of information used for this discussion will be from the book Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico, From Chinos to Indians by Tatiana Sayas. What's interesting here is that the subject of Asian slaves in Spanish America is not discussed or widely known. In fact, in Tatiana Sayas' book, she states that her book is the first that traces Chino origins in Asia. My goal in this particular episode is to touch on key points, which is not readily.
All right, so this is the ignorance right here. All right, and you could clearly see that these individuals right here are not to the left and to the right. All right, you could see it clearly there. You could tell they're Asians. All right. It's on the one on the far left, all right? But Fobi try to say, well, all Mexicans are Asians, all right? Not knowing the history of the Chino slaves, all right? They didn't do their research, okay? They haven't gone out through the scriptures, All right. They just slapped some mess up there. All right. And just threw it up against the wall, see what sticks. All right. Yeah, the turns throwing up spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. All right. So this is what happened for me. All right. Like the other video, they said it's a car in Africa. It's a car race in Africa. All right. But it had to be the one they was claiming was a Christian ECG. All right. I can't pronounce the pastor or the heck he is. All right. He got arrested for something doing with financial. I think it's financial, basically financial fraud, something like that. All right. So his congregation was teaching that they basically teach this doctrine, the Issachar doctrine. They are the intersection, right, between people and the Most High. Was it? They going off, They wasn't people in the Arab that claimed to be Israelites. They just had this doctrine, this Issachar doctrine. All right, they weren't claiming Israel. But anyway, let's get into this. All right, and get this on James chapter. Just bear with me, y'all. All right. Before I get into this, all right, it says right here, James chapter 1, verse 1. It says, James, a servant of the Most High, all right, of Yahweh, and Adwan Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. All right. So our people are scattered all over the earth. Okay. Our people are scattered all over the earth. All right. Like it says in Amos. Let me get that. All right. And all this is about is coming against the 12 tribes sign. People say, oh, we don't got to change nothing, man. The 12 tribes sign is dealing with the Israelites that's in the Western Hemisphere. All right. We don't have to change anything, man. All right. Right here it says Amos chapter 9, verse 11. Salat 9, verse 9. It says, for lo, I will command, I will sift the house of Israel among all nations like as corn is sifted in the seed, yet ye shall not yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All right. Now, I have the book, Asians, Slaves, and Colonial Mexican Folk, but they don't. All right. I have it. All right. Because guess what? I'm a researcher. I like this. This has been my job since 2008. Okay. All right. So can't nobody come up and say, well, the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans are not Israelites. I'll go into the history. I'll line up, go into secular history. I'll line up with biblical history. All right. Okay. And see what it is like. So the same thing. All right. With the Negritos. All right. Of the Philippines, Malaysia. All right. And some people from Asia. All right. To identify them as being the Israelites. Okay. And let me get this. Deuteronomy 28 and 45. 46, it said, moreover, all the curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh, thy power to keep his commandments, statute we command thee, and they shall be upon thee a sign for one upon thy seed forever. Right, man? All right, so the curse will be a sign to see who is who are the Israelites, and a wonder like, damn, how these people get in this situation where I can't ever get their act together, man. You know, what's going on with the so-called Negro Latinos and Native American and speckled birds. Like, damn, man, we done help these people out. All these programs, all that stuff, they still can't get it together, man. Good God. You know, why? Because they under the curses. All right. But guess what? According to Deuteronomy 30 verse 7, the curse is going off us and coming to our enemies. All right. And when our number one enemy is Edom, the so-called white man. All right. That's why everything's falling apart. He's getting sloppy with his crisis. We all know what I'm talking about. And his relaxation. You all know what I'm talking about that. All right. So and his kingdom coming down, man. Everybody see for what he is. All right. So get to this book, Asian Slaves and Colonial Mexican Chinos to Indians. All right. So let's get cracking. Go to page 5. All right. This is about the Manila Gillen slave trade, the Trans-Pacific slave trade. All right. And they gals from all over the world, man. Mostly. All right. So this is page 5. It says right here, it says the crown first decreed in 1540s that Indians who accepted Spanish sovereignty were special wards of the king and freed additional vassals according to protection of slaves. Despite such legislation, the ongoing resistance of indigenous groups at the far edges of the Spanish Empire allowed the enslavement of barbarian Indians such as the Negritos of the Philippines, the Chicamecas in North provinces of Mexico, and the Mapuche in Chile. All right. All right. So this right here proves that the indigenous people of Americas are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, man. All right. Now, Chicamecas, they include that. This is what Esau did. The Chicamecas are the indigenous people of Mexico, also Gad, the Apache. All right, Richard. All right. And right here it said the Mapuche. Here right here it says Negritos, man. All right. Now in the video, you see Quanaf, he put up the picture of some Ammonites, all right, in the beginning of the video, and say all these are the so-called Mexicans, but the slaves that came for the Philippines, what do they look like? All right, you go to the Negrito. Okay, what is the definition of Negrito? It tells you what? Okay. And they call anybody barbarians who did bow down to their plantation Christianity. It says Negrito, a member such as the Adamis, belong to the group of dark-skinned peoples of small stature that lives in Oceania, south eastern part of Asia. All right. It said diminutive of Negro. All right. So we all know right now that these are dark-skinned people. Okay. It says right here. So I'm gonna skip down right here. It says royal decrees. War decrees liberated Chino slaves in Mexico at this time because many of them were originally from the Spanish Philippines. Individuals born in Portuguese, Goa, Malacca, and other places in South and Southeast Asia were also free because they had long been carried together as Chinos, and because most Chino slaves by this point had strong ties to indigenous communities in Mexico. All right, the term employed shed light on Chinos to ascribe social identity, how it relate to their legal status. Spanish colonists flattened cultural difference in order to characterize people according to their place in society or legal status of an empire. In the 1600s, the terms Chino and Black, Negro, referred to individuals from continents of Asia and Africa who arrived in the Americas as slaves. All right, so we're gonna look at the two words, Chino. All right, so right here is Chino. Okay. Let me see. And just when they say Chino, just basically mean Asia. All right. Sometimes they say China. All right. So that's what I mean by Chino. All right. It says right here, people who were. It says 17th century Mexico. The term Indian was almost never used in reference to Chino slaves. People who were categorized as Chino Indian, and Chino was indigenous people from the Philippines. All right, this is something Esau doing. Esau brings confusion, man. He turned everything upside down. Like it says in the book of Isaiah 29. All right. All right. All right. It says right here. It says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as part of clay for the work. Say of him that made it, he made me not. Shall the thing that framed it say of him that framed it, he had no understanding. All right, and this is what Esau do, man. He turned it upside down, man. He got everybody calling each other black, Mexican, Puerto Rico. Those not nationality, man. Nobody's black like the fonts in this Bible, man. All right, nobody's white like the pages of this Bible. All right, those are lies that Esau made up to confuse everybody, and also to hide himself as the nation of Edom, and hide the fact that the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right, and another thing, man, that Chino thing, man. All right, they say they they was free, but as in time I read that, all right, but Esau refused to let them go, man. All right, so it just will magic like bam, one day you're free. It's just same thing over here in Americas, man. All right, you had so-called Negroes and Indians, all right, that did speak to America. They declare free. They actually want free, man. All right, and then at the same time you're gonna read in here, you're gonna see it, all right, throughout this book. You had some indigenous people of Asia, they was free. You had some that was enslaved. Same thing was going on in North America, man. Here in North America, man. All right. So it says, from the Philippines, the term instant was used to treasury records from Acapulco to refer to free Filipino sailors who served on a Manila galleon. Chino slaves were not called Indio Chinos because the term connoted Indian identity. Indians were supposed to be free. It said masters and colonial officials therefore rarely coupled the words Indian and slave. Till the 18th century, decades the end of Chino slavery, the term Chino came from an individual mixed Indian and African ancestors. All right, so it's talking about Issachar and Judah. All right, ancestry, man. All right, so let's go to page 24. All right, let's jump to page 24. All right, so go back to the color thing. All right, it says, cause like to say, oh, there was a bunch of light-skinned people. What they think the media portrayed as Asian people, these were Israelites from Asia, and they was dark, man. All right, dark like the so-called Negroes. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring this out. It said the reconstruction of Chinos into Indians also involved a heightened awareness of their physical features, such as people in Mexico looked at Chinos physiognomically to identify them as Indians. It said Catarinas, hierographers report repeatedly about her physical appearance and her similarity to the native Indians. According to Ramos, Caratina was once a very beautiful woman with white skin, silver hair, and a broad foreface and glimmering. And this was Esau do, man. All right, he'll put the white status on individuals that particular JC favor, just like he did to Fulani. He's like to say, or that bunch of white people, you know that Fulani are dark brown people, Israelites. Same thing in this situation. Like Katrina, she was originally from Philippines. It said Katrina, on the other hand, thought her parents was a curse, so she asked God to make her ugly. All right, this was something Esau came up with. All right, it says, soon after her hair and face darkened, she became a toasted china, a hazelnut color Indian. All right, so let's look up what it says. All right, hazelnut. Okay, you don't get that. You all never seen hazelnuts? This is what hazelnuts look like. All right, brown, man. All right, hazelnuts brown. All right, see the inside brown. Okay, this is what hazelnut is, man. All right, now, all right, it says soon after her hair and face darkened, she became toasted china and a hazelnut color Indian. Ramos, in other words, equated brown skin with chinos. In indigenous people, his compromise, like he did the same group all non-African people with Indians. All right, and Jake says no, that was not came from Africa. It says story mother shows Katrina have a deep empathy with indigenous people who, though free, were often treated no better than slaves, and they all wasn't free. And I read before, it said Katrina thus participated in the making the connections between Chinos and Indians, articulate her own ties to the natives of Mexico. Katrina kinship with the native Mexico may have been fostered at the Jesuit College. All right, her spiritual home in Pueblo, in a place where she was buried. All right, it says right here, Ramos also wrote the deprivation of Katrina's experience during her journey to Mexico that had transfigured her face and darkened her skin. She was already dark skinned, white color. Her skin was like wheat. All right, and this is what Esau does, man. All right, this is why Esau lies. All right, Ramos. Now look at wheat. Look at the color of wheat. All right, it says 16 types of wheat color. We all know wheat. That's light brown wheat. All right, you see right here, toasted wheat. All right, you have wheat tortilla, wheat beer, new wheat, wheat bread. Okay, winter wheat, morning wheat, wheat right there. All right, so wheat is a brown color, man. Okay, all right. Now she said, and another thing you have to remember is that the people of Mexico was brown skinned, man. All right, the people of Mexico was brown skinned. All right, you'll see right here. This is the book Cast of Painting by Alona Katsu. All right, so you go. This is about the missing nation. All right, the missing Mexico. All right, which prophesied in Hosea chapter 7, verse 8. Okay. Now you see right here, page 46. All right, and this will cut. This is this Edomite. It says right here, the Chronicle of Francis Order in Mexico by Fray Juan Tortuguindima, 1562 and 1624. All right, and this right here, Esau, he tried to come up with his false doctrine, and he gonna cut himself. It says summarize many of the notions of time as the origin of the color black. All right, but again, nobody's black. All right, he began referring to the Genesis passage adding that all the children of Ham's son Canaan were born black and ugly as the Egyptians and those in Gatuna barbarian people who live in a region interior of Libya. All right, but the people of Libya, they're punks, man. All right, so Esau don't read, man. All right. Anyway, referring back, talking about the so-called Negroes in Mexico, and the so-called Negro Mexico are Israelites from the tribe of Judah, man. Like I said in the Bible, Zondervan Bible Dictionary, look up Ham says the progenitor of the dark races, the Egyptians, the Libyans, the Ethiopians, the Canaanites, not the Negroes. All right. But anyway, it says, according to Torquema, Ham's offense and his ultimate punishment provide additional explanation why the majority of I'm gonna use Judites were slaves. Right? But guess what? Canaanites won't prophesy to forget their nationality. Okay, so that cuts that doctrine, man. All right. All right. It says, in other words, Turkey restored a biblical source to account of blackness to explain what this color meant in terms of place where people occupied a natural chain of the natural servitude. All right. It says right here, another theory gained currency in the 17th, 18th century to explain the original color black, point to climatic reasons, which that's false because Esau originated in the Middle East. All right. He was born in Edom. There's now there is mountains in there. There's this area with the, the rocks and stuff. All right, they could hide for shade and stuff. All right, but anyway, it said a theory. What about the albinos in Africa? All right, it's hot over there. Why they born like that? All right, but anyway, it says the theory had been spread by ancient writers and revived during the Renaissance. The Spanish author Pedro Caballero Sebastian followed the writings of Pliny, among others, in attempt in 1697 to answer the question why Ethiopians, generic term for Africans, were black, relying on this theory of climate determinism. He argued, despite the well-known fact that Ethiopians were descended from Canaan, their color could be explained in terms of climate. Caballero Sebastian claimed that when the offspring of Canaan populated Ethiopia, they were all likelihood white and beautiful as the rest of the brothers, cousins, and nephews. All right, but we all know it's not true. Man. It says, but with the passing time, the influence of the sky, the force of star, the dryness of the air, the effect of burning sun, changed their white skin into black. All right, so we all know that Esau, when he gets sunburned, he turns red, man. All right, so that debunks that. So to validate this, right, he summarized that the blacks be transferred to Flanders, England, France, Spain, where climate is moderate. In time, they become entirely white without having to mix with the white population. So it's not true. Your brothers they found in England, man, since the forever, man. All right. They ain't never changed. So finally, Caballero Sebastian cited proof of his climate theory. Those living close to the equator, which included habits of Africa, invariably are darker in complexion. All right. But we all know that the Israelites and the Hamites in Africa, they come in various shades of brown. It said Torquemada is well aware of such theories, climate determination, but for him, the complexion of the Indians posed as an atom problem, right? Because it's false. All right, he teaching false doctrine, baffled by the color of the Indians of the New World, who were neither white nor black. Even some regions were clear situated close to the queer line. All right, we all know they was some dark skinned, man. All right, it says, but saffron color, as we say here, laurels, tawny, dark brown. All right, so we all know what tawny, dark brown looks like, man. Okay. We all know what tawny brown looks like. Okay. Yeah, let's get tawny brown. So we have to remember they compare in the book. Reynolds compared the brown skin of Katerina to the indigenous people of Mexico, man. All right, and that's not tawny as Esau tried to put it in there, man. All right, let me get this tawny bag. All right. All right, this is Tony, man. All right, various shades of Tony. You can see it's brown. All right, you can see it's brown. Matter of fact, okay, in this book, The Negro Questions, which is written by Quanah friend Lee Commons. If I'm using the book of his own friend to cut him. All right, the Negro Question Part 4. It tells you right here. All right, on page 56, it says what? It says all Africa is tawny, black, mean dark skin. Asia chiefly tawny, black. America exclusive of the newcomers, holy soul. In Europe, the Spanish, French, Italian, Russian, and Swedes are generally what we call swarthy, black complexion. See, Germans also, all right? You see Tony, y'all know we're not black like these folks, so we dark brown. All right, then you go to page 76. All right, you read about what the Japanese. All right, he said Benjamin Franklin in his essay. All right, 1751 said all Asia was tawny, swarthy, or black. Let's see if Benjamin Franklin told the truth. Yes, he did. All right, and you see the Japanese admiral. All right, you know, I'll bring this up. All right, I'll bring this up. All right, it says I cropped the images from the photo above to reinforce the original blackness of the Japanese during World War I. All right, yeah. All right, now these people, dog, it was pushed out. All right, some you know, some mixed in with the lighter skinned Japanese. All right, you can see it right here. Then you go to page 80. All right, you can see right here the Chinese emperor, Japanese prince. All right, you have Israelites among these people, man. All right, so I'm gonna show you later on the book. All right, it says location. Well, I'm gonna show you what happened to certain, you know, Japanese. All right, but anyway, it says location and image and Getty image. All right, you can see it right here. It said this is a French newspaper called the Le Plate Journal, published in the year 1908. Depicts the emperor of China, Emperor Ghana, and his wife lying in a state. Benjamin Franklin's description of race in 1751 was correct. He said all Asia is black, meaning dark brown. When I'm trying to establish in the prior War, Benjamin Franklin's essay proved to be extremely accurate. The question we should be asking ourselves, what happened to all these black people? All right, so what happened to the dark-skinned Moabites? All right, the Ammonites, and the people of South Asia, that's their Japhet. All right, okay, so what happened to them, man? You saw random out of history. All right, and our people were scattered among these people, man. All right, the Israelites. Okay. All right, our people scattered among them, man. All right, so I don't know where folk we get this idea. They're a bunch of light-skinned people and everything, man. All right, all right, so we all know that's BS. All right, when you go to page 234, all right, it's going to describe the Chino slaves, all right, the Israelite slaves from Asia, all right. What it says right here, 234. It tells you right here. Let's start at 233. All right, it says slave owners in Mexico City also recognize the legal complications of selling and buying a Chino slave. In 1675, Don Juan de Montemayor made a notorious promise that he would return the price of Chino named Nicholas de Tolentino if Minister of the Real Audiencia were to liberate the said slave, declared that he could not be sold. This document is open acknowledgement that the liberation of Chino slaves as well as underway, but also the process required official petition to the court. Nobly, some owners try to circumvent the law altogether by initially changing the ethnic category of slaves. In July 1672, when Monte Teresa liberation campaign was already underway, Juan Lopez Margaret traveled all the way from Zacatecas was one of the brothers, they people from the area, which was under, I believe, one of the brothers in Issachar named Daniel, I think his people from around the area, which was under the jurisdiction of the Audiencia of the Guadalajara to Mexico City to sell a slave, and sorry if I pronounced that city in Mexico wrong, Antonio to serve her property transfer. Juan provided several documents, including an old power attorney, which Antonio was characterized as a Chino slave. The bills, however, listed Antonio as a mulatto and noted he was branded on the chin. Juan must have realized that he was about to lose his property if he kept Antonio in the northern frontier, so he took him a long journey somewhere along the way, and Antonio became a slave who had African ancestry, perhaps because he had actually darker skin. All right, so there you go, man. All right, then you got page 243. It says, in addition, Portuguese traders brought slaves from Cochin, so that Elam, Makassar, Timor, and many other places. These foreign slaves, including Raisin Blacks, Negro de Paza, all right, some of their Muslim children for Guinea, Mozambique. All right, so it's talking about the Southern Kingdom. All right, we're talking about Raisin Blacks. And Cabo Verde, other black slaves had long hair like the Bengalis, and from Malabar, right? The judges maintain that most slaves, in fact, were blacks, commonly called Cafres, right? But you see right here, it says one day they was dark skinned, they had long hair. All right, prove they was dark skinned, man. So folks, they don't know what they talking about. That sister in the video, she don't know what she talking about. All right. It said, in addition, Audiencia liberated a number of foreign slaves who were from Bengal, Khartoum, Java, Michael, Massacre, Malabar, Mela, Tamar. These slaves had been the property of Spaniards, Singal, those are, let's say that's more so-called Chinese, and a few elite Filipinos. All right. So I understand where they get this thing that these people was very light-skinned, all right, back in those days, all right, when they was being a slave, right, and they were changing their status, right, because these people are dark-skinned, just like the indigenous people of Mexico, man. All right, you go to let me get this book, Sex and Race. All right, volume 1 by J. Rogers. He was a scholar. All right. You can see, this is page 270. All right, and what he says is what? He said the oldest inhabitants of Mexico, according to some, were Negroes, and according to others, autonomies. All right, so this is Issachar. All right, this is Issachar, man, and the reason why some Issachars, all right, some had that Negro nose or fat lips, some didn't. Some had those sharp nose and thin lips and straight hair. All right, or you might seem like a mixture, man. All right, so this is what happened in this nation of Mexico, man. Hosea 7:8. All right, that's why some light skinned, man. All right, saw this stuff going on, man. But all of them didn't get caught up. Well, as most people like to think that Esau came and he raped the women and none was left. No, there's still some men left, man. All right. So now you 2/3, you can't make up your mind where the so-called Mexicans are Moabites and Ammonites, or are they Edomites from Spain? See how your doctrine just falling apart, man. All right, but just showing how dark-skinned Issachar originally was. All right, it said, according to the autonomy, the existence of Negroes and of giants come believe. They all races of our soul and our various language. They had words designated. All right, I'm gonna go around here. It says in Teokan about little heads of Ethiopian type paintings of Negroes in Misha Khan and Osaka. The same have also found the almost total extinction of Negroes during the time of the Spanish conquest. Right, they killed a lot of Issacharites, man. That's what Esau did. All right, that's what they did, kill a lot of Issacharites, so-called Mexicans. All right, it said the memories of their most ancient traditions induced us to believe Negroes were the first inhabitants of Mexico. All right, Historia General de Mexico, page 14, Mexico 1919. Okay. It says right here, Riviera Palencia indisputed that in very ancient times before the existence of the autonomous Negro race occupied territory in Mexico when the two continents were joined. All right. But anyway, it says the race brought its own religion and ideas. It said the Negro god Asquith, which means blackface. All right. It said according to Cambridge Encyclopedia Quantizata, we all know that representing Yahushua, the Mexican Messiah, was. All right, cause I believe the brother Kazak, he could break down the word Meshika goes back to Mashiach. All right, he's anointed one. It said was also black and woolly hair according to Buckley, the Mexican Quantizato is clear. Oh, sorry, we gone off this. All right, but we all know Quantizato represents Yahushua. All right, it said according to a Hayat Vera Authority of Central American India, a god, the Black Christ, exists in the Central American Empire as in Europe. He says the little church at Escuelta, Guatemala is the image of a Black Christ to which thousands of Indians journey annually from parts of Central America and even from Mexico and South America. The spot become a shrine, a Mecca for the Indians, and for hundreds, even thousands of miles, they traveled to a Oscuro, Guatemalan village, carrying them with all their possession in order to have them sanctified at the famous church. All right. So this is what Esau did. All right. So you know the indigenous people of Mexico and Guatemala. Guatemala is Zebulon. Mexico is Issachar. You know the Mayans of Mexico is Zebulon. All right. So he basically took what they knew and twisted and basically tricked them into his Catholic religion, because he knows that Yahushua was a so-called black man. All right. It got so bad that in one case that the indigenous people of Mexico, man, they start to leave Catholicism and go back to their original ways. All right, which they going on worship idols anyway. And Esau was forced to bring out the original black statues of Yahushua from Spain, man, to keep in their Catholic religion. All right, you know, they're just facts. All right, but just show you, man, that the original people of Mexico was a dark brown, was a brown skinned people from dark brown to very light brown, and so was the Chino slaves, the Israelite slaves from Asia, man. They was dark brown people, man. All right, so they was dark skinned, man. So ain't no way Phobius is correct on this, man. All right, matter of fact, all right, because go to 91 page. This book by Age of Africa Gives to America. All right, and we call this in Chicago GMS overkill. All right. It says right here, it says, and I brought this out before, it says the Mexicans had never become reconciled to the laws. To make it worse, the Americans regard them as niggers. All right, this is Issachar, so-called Mexican. Frederick Lawstead, who visited Texas both before and after the Republic, tells of almost open war between the two, right? Because one is Jake, one is Esau. The so-called Mexicans is Jake, Israel. Of the assassination and the burning of homes, they, the Mexicans, he said, hate and fear the ascendant race. It's talking about Esau. All right, but you know, Esau is ascendant, all right? Anyway, man, Esau garbage. Right? It was just his town to rule, man. And involuntary associate and sympathize, involuntary associate and sympathized with the Negroes, right? So it was sympathized with the tribe of Judah. Issachar was sympathized with the tribe of Judah. They were treated as outlaws and regarded as niggers. One white man told Olmsted why they're as black as niggers and 10 times as treacherous. All right. Okay, so this is way after the conquest of Mexico by the Emite for Spain, man. So there was still some very dark skinned so-called Mexicans. There is still today some very dark skinned so-called Mexicans that race down in Mexico, man. All right, so folks, you're going off, you're incorrect. All right. Also, the Chino slaves from as Rainbow, he said it was that Catarina had the same complexion as the indigenous people of Mexico, all right, Issachar, all right. So the Chino slaves from Asia, all right, from the Philippines and elsewhere, were the same dark brown, it was just dark brown, just like the so-called Mexicans. All right, the tribe of Issachar, Mexico, man. Now I believe that I'm leaning towards that that the Filipino slaves in Mexico, Filipino slaves in Mexico, they brought us to Mexico, and that they were that they are from the Northern Kingdom, man, because they fulfilled it. They also fulfilled what happened to them was mixing in them, man, because some of them they don't. Some of them don't look like what they was originally looked like, man. Which was they was dark skinned Negro looking, man. All right. So this is part one. I'll come back with part two. Most high willing. Shalom.